Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I am so grateful that you're here for this daily medicine transmission for February 8th, 2021. Oh man, sorry for the, if you were around for the false start here. It wouldn't be a Mercury retrograde if we didn't have some technological issues. Ooh, sorry about that. And cameras shaking and any manner of disruption we could possibly imagine making its way into our reality. So, good morning. Welcome to Monday. It is February 8th, as I said, 2021. This is the daily medicine transmission. I'm so grateful that you're here to join me for this. So, the sun is in a conjunction with Mercury retrograde today in Aquarius. And if you want to read more about the astrology, it is posted on medium.com. You can link to that in the description box below. You can also link to Facebook and Telegram to stay in touch on social media, of course. And that is also in the description box below. And I'm just going to go right into the reading today because I did do a lot of the astrological components in that written piece that's on my blog, so you can check that out there. So I'm not really going to show the chart today because I don't really want to go over time that I've already spent explaining the astrology. And I've put some stuff on social media too about this conjunction with the Sun and Mercury. And needless to say, we are in a moment here where we are going to muster our courage, not to fight any external battles, but to fight the battle within. And that is the title of today's transmission. So I do want to talk a little bit before we get into the reading, strong Lyran energy. So let's do some starseed stuff before we get into the reading because they came in very strong today and are reflected pretty directly in the reading itself, and with the moon in Capricorn today as well. Capricorn is the realm of the Lyrans. So let's talk a little bit about the Lyrans, okay? And if you've had a starseed reading with me, then you know some of this, and many people do have Lyran starseed markings in their chart. And that is, if that's something that interests you, you can book that reading through the website. That's also in the description box below. So the Lyrans, in terms of a starseed race, okay, so they are characterized in a lot of different humanoid forms, but the thing to recognize, there are a couple things to recognize about the Lyrans is, number one, they are one of the oldest races in our galaxy. They are even older than the Arcturians. They have likely seeded some of our more younger and more direct starseed relatives and star race relatives, I guess. Pleiadians, the Sirians. The Lyrans have been to every corner of this galaxy because they have been around for so long, almost as long as the universe itself. All right, so with the limited background I have in astrophysics and astronomy, so far the accepted, and keep in mind that science as a methodology, if we're using science for what it is meant to be, it's never settled. It's an evolving, dynamic process of understanding the objective reality and truth through the course of our discovery, exploration, and analysis of this data. So science is never settled. And if anybody ever tells you that, then they don't understand what they're saying, or they're using it to manipulate you. So there are very few laws of nature in terms of something that we can absolutely definitively say this is something that is the case. This is a law of nature. And beyond that, there is hypotheses that we work to confirm or not confirm. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into the science end of things. That's much more of an Arcturian thing. So with the Lyrans, they are very old. They have traveled and explored every corner of this galaxy. They're responsible for seeding other starseed races, like I said, the Pleiadians, the Sirians. And the primary star in the Lyran constellation, because Lyra is a constellation, it's a constellation that is it's in the shape of a particular instrument, right? the lyra or the lute, maybe you could think about it that way. And so the primary star in Lyra is Vega, 15 degrees Capricorn. So with the moon in Capricorn today, this feels really like a very strong resonance that's coming through to talk about the Lyrans. So because they are so old that they have traveled this galaxy at every corner, they represent a fearlessness about their physical world that we really could stand to bring into our not only our awareness but to embody in some ways. So the Lyrans, like I said, because they're so old, they have a lot of different forms. But lately, and the form that they seem to be really embodying and projecting out to us most readily is the feline form. And if you are connected at all to Egyptian cosmology and the mythology, the feline and the cats were worshipped among their culture. And so there's a lot of connection, ET connection and starseed connection to Egypt in general, definitely the Syrians, but the Lyrans as well. And I think that they embodied that through their feline form, and the Egyptians therefore ended up worshiping them and putting them and revering felines and cats specifically for that reason. So the Lyrans come from stars and star systems that are in the Lyran constellation, Vega being one of the brightest stars in that constellation and in our sky. If you remember the book or the movie Contact by Carl Sagan, in that story, the beings that the main character interacts with when she goes through the wormhole, they are from Vega. So, and if you remember in the movie as well, or in the book, depending on which one if you've ever seen or read it, they talked about being billions and billions of years old. So these beings are fearless about their experience of the physical world, okay? And when I say fearless, I don't mean that they are taking risks unnecessarily. So Lyran starseed traits, Lyrans as starseeds tend to really enjoy the physical realm, right? They enjoy eating, they enjoy drinking, they enjoy all aspects of materiality, and not in a consuming way. They just enjoy being in physical form, athletic, competitive, pushing themselves to the limit physically. Lyran starseeds tend to really love manual labor and will stay at it until a project is done. They love to be in their bodies. They love to push themselves. And there is a courage and a fearlessness that come along with Lyran starseeds because the Lyrans have just been through it all. They have been around the galactic block so many times that there is very little that they have encountered as a result of their experience over billions and billions of years of being, advanced humanoid race that's able to travel throughout the galaxy. So there is, with this Capricorn energy, especially with the moon in Capricorn, this fearlessness and this courage and this ability to really embrace the material experience with this fearlessness is something that we could really bring into, like I said, embody and bring into our awareness right now. Because we are in a position now where we're really at this cusp to face the unmasking of illusions. This is a lot about where the Sun and Mercury are conjuncting in Aquarius, right? The last decan, the last 10 degrees of Aquarius, and is represented in the tarot by the Seven of Swords, okay? This is the futility of our minds trying to bypass our own fate. And fate is really just a matter of a cause and effect relationship with our choices in the middle, bridging that gap. So we are really good at trying to trick ourselves, trick other people, use cleverness, trickster energy, juggling things, all of that to to avoid the unmasking of the illusion, to get to the actual truth. And if you look at the Seven of Swords, at least in the Thoth Tarot, there's a lot of renderings of this archetype, but there is one central point here. And actually, the moon is what rules the third decan of Aquarius, and this is where our new moon is going to be. So as we go through this week, we are going to be really facing a lot of disillusionment and disappointment, and it's really about our ability to stand in our own courage in the face of that, because we do have to keep moving forward. And when we get to the new moon, we will be in a position to set some intentions for the next cycle. And the new moon is also the Chinese New Year, which I'm going to bring those two pieces together in the new moon report. It's a moment where we will have a choice. And today too is a choice point when it comes to the Sun and Mercury coming together. This is a mental, awakening to some extent. We get an opportunity right now with the Sun and Mercury. Communication is heightened, alertness is heightened. We tend to identify ourselves through the communication, the movement of ideas. So speaking and writing and the chatter and the communing with each other is going to be really high. But it's about facing the futility of all of the ways that we try to trick ourselves into not seeing the truth. And there is a futility in that. And there's deep wisdom that we have the opportunity to teach from over the course of the next cycle that will unfold with the next new moon. But it requires that we have the courage to face our inner battles right now. And the Lyran starseeds are coming in hot, right? And we're going to see in this reading, let's look at it. They are coming in hot. There's a lot of fire in this reading today. So let's minimize my face as much as we all want to look at it. And okay. So we're going to look at this reading one by one, but as you can see right here already, we have the tiger and the cheetah, two feline, very strong, very independent energies. The thing about Lyran starseeds too is that they have a fierce independence and they need to be free. And oftentimes as children, it can really cause problems with parents or caregivers that want them to stay close by, because the exploratory and discovery nature of Lyran starseeds is so strong that these are the people that'll get on a sailboat and sail around the world, or go be an exchange student while they're in high school and go to a totally foreign place. There's fearlessness and courage to explore and to totally take in every aspect of the material world and enjoy it. Okay, and we're going to really bring in this courage right now because we have a lot of inner battles to face. Good morning, Meg. I just popped over to the chat. Yeah, Lyran starseeds. That is what is up. We're gonna need this courage right now, and I would really invite you to utilize that courage to face your own battles within, because this is how we actually face that futility, the disillusionment, the disappointment that we feel when we have to come to terms with reality and the truth of a situation, despite how we want it to maybe convince ourselves that it's something else. But we can utilize this courage to face our own shadow. And when we do that, then we are on a healing track, okay? And like I said, we have the tiger, we have the cheetah. These are fierce, these are independent, these are feline energies that really denote leadership with the tiger, being clear on our goals and our intentions. That's a very Capricornian energy of goals and intentions and moving with them, right? That is cardinal earth, actually creating, being the architect of our own reality. That came up last week, didn't it? Because we're really facing there's a lot of structures that are coming down, and tomorrow when the moon meets Pluto, that's going to be felt so strongly, and there's going to be so much coming to the surface with a dark moon meeting Pluto. It's going to be really interesting and very potentially very disruptive and disturbing when a dark moon meets Pluto. You know, that's a lot of secrets coming up to the surface. That's a lot of buried stuff, deep emotions that are being accessed. When we're talking about Pluto and Capricorn, the old structures being destroyed in order to make space for the new. But it's not an easy process. We really need to dig deep right now. And the best thing we can do is to prepare is to do this work internally and to cultivate this courage internally and to face our own demons as opposed to continuing to project it out, because that is a pretty obvious dynamic still, right? Is that we are bypassing collectively, you know, it's a slow process, but we could change in an instant, and if we chose to. But part of this process is we have to heal our own inner wounds. We have to heal our own trauma so that we are not projecting it unconsciously out. And we need courage to do this. We need courage to go into the dark night of the soul. Okay. And there are many of us now that need to step forward in a position of leadership and step forward in a position of healing, in part of that leadership, okay? But that is going to require that we are very clear, we're very intentional, and that we are going into the depths of ourselves in order to set an example, right? The new moon in Aquarius is going to be about teaching from a place of deep wisdom by overcoming our passions. And you can see right here that it is all fire in this horizontal axis. It's all fire. It's a lot of fire, even though the only fire really in the chart right now is the South Node, but that is a powerful element. That is our past. That is what we have mastered already, and it's very easy to fall back on that. I'm going to tell you, you know, the South Node right now is sitting on my Mars. Like, I am feeling it. I am feeling that fire and that rage and that real push to do something about it. But that is where we are coming from. That is not where we are going. And it's really important that we realize that. Otherwise, we stand to miss an opportunity to do the work on ourselves. Okay. It's not that we can't use that energy. That's the momentum of that is the momentum of the dragon going forward, swishing its tail back and forth, right? But we are not heading there. That is just momentum moving forward. So let's start in on this reading and see what is going on here. So we're going to start in with the Two of Wands. Whoops, that's the Queen. There we go. Two of Wands, Dominion, Mars and Aries. So the twos are always that first manifestation of the pure ideal of the elements. So fire, spiritual will, transformation, action. And we're talking about Mars and Aries. You know, this is action, you know, the warrior in action. So there is courage, there is determination, there is direction and a goal, right? Again, there is a very Capricornian thing here, except that in Aries, the goal is just our own actualization. But this is what we are working with, that it allows us to eventually get to a point, especially with the moon in Capricorn, where we feel the responsibility and the seriousness of our emotions on the whole, right? But we have to start with the actualization of ourselves. It's the first manifestation of a new idea and the beginning of transformation. This is what's coming into the moment, right? This is the cause of the cause and effect relationship here. Not talking about consideration or caring. It is just action, dominion, right? We are in total, we're just in total power of ourselves, and we are going somewhere. So this is the cause energy coming into the moment. Okay. Very fiery. So next, in the heart of the moment, This is the Queen of Wands. Now, if you remember from last week, this was really the outcome here. And if you see in this card, she's got the cheetah. This is a big energy. And again, the Lyran energy, the feline energy. There is fearlessness and courage, and a power within our material world. Look at this woman. This woman is in total control of the world around her. She is towering, right? She's got the pineal gland on her staff, right? The pine cone, the rays of the sun coming off of her crown. She's got the eagle wings, right, above her, and she has got her hand on the head of this cheetah. She is in charge here. But it is the balancing of opposites, the water of the fire, the balancing of opposites, combining of these elements, okay? It is the movement from Pisces to Aries. Pisces is the undifferentiated, whole, emotional, intuitive experience, the Akashic records, all there is and ever will be. Moving into Aries, which is what? This is the beginning of transformation. This is a direction. This is creation. There's a lot of love and there's a lot of understanding here, and there's trust. This woman it's not all fire. She has the capacity to balance those empathy and understanding and love, and to provide warmth, right? But she is in control. And she has a lot of pride, and she's very passionate and inspired. This is a card about power, but not without a basis in feeling, right? Spiritual feeling. Pisces is universal source. She's connected right into it, and she's able to create from that place, okay? This is the heart of the matter. So if we have a cause and effect relationship, and fate is our choice point that bridges the gap between cause and effect, right? This is it right here. This is and who we are, the queen, right? This represents us in, a personified archetype. Not so much the experience, but us in the experience. So we at the heart of here are able to, we've come in with this dominion, right? This power of transformation, the beginning of something being created with courage and determination. And we come to the heart of the moment that's showing us that we can bridge the gap. We can have the water and the fire together. We can be in total power, but based in love, right? In love and compassion, right? That is Pisces. So at the top of our awareness, here's the divine physician again. So he is the water bearer. Look, he's got the bucket, the well is there. He's doing the Reiki. And he's able to do the healing on the heart. And it's just this very beautiful scene. He's got the flowers that are blossoming on the tree, and it's kind of this country, almost rustic environment. He's got the caduceus on his white robes, this individual. And we really, at the top, we really need to bring this in. And at the top of our awareness, and our conscious awareness, is the need to embody divine healing, either for ourselves or to step into a position where we can offer this to other people. And when we're talking about starseeds and Lyran starseeds, I think that the Lyran starseeds need to step in and show this is how we can embody the courage to heal ourselves, and then be an example, right? Be an example, be a leader, be in a position to help other people through this process, okay? So the divine physician, number 6, right? That's a very harmonious number, but it requires us to participate in some way, right? As opposed to the 3, which is very structurally sound and balanced and doesn't really need any participation. The 6 is harmonious, but we have to act on it somehow. And we are really at the top. Like I said, the top of our awareness is about divine healing and bringing this in for ourselves, and also bringing it in for other people, to step into a position where we can offer this to other people, because not everybody is going to address their disillusionment and their disappointment in the same way. And the courage we need has to come from within. And it takes courage to face our darkness and to heal. That's where real healing does come from. So we can facilitate this process by offering our healing gifts to people, either listening compassionately, offering Reiki. That's just a couple of examples, but really you can trust yourself in the moment when you find that you've been led to situations that allow you to step into this role. And if anything, we can recognize that we need this healing as well, and bring this in for us. So speaking of bringing it in, at the root of things, well, here's Archangel Raphael. This is, so number 8, this is always divine intervention of some sort. Archangel Raphael is about healing. He's about miracles and reuniting families, and often comes in the form of a person more than the others, archangels, okay? And you can see that he's got the pink over the heart chakra, the green orb also related to the heart chakra, okay? There's no wings on this archangel. So this, at the root of things, there is support, and there is assistance coming in for miracles, for healing, for renewals of lost dreams, reuniting family members. Well, that's a big one. I mean, the fractures as a result of this bifurcation are so severe in some cases that people are allowing their communities, their families to be torn apart. And this is, miracles can happen, right? That things can happen, conversations can happen that you would never anticipate, but this requires that we allow this to come in. We can't do it all ourselves, and this is part of having some faith here and to be open to assistance. And at the root of things here with this archangel, we can open ourselves to this assistance, and we might be pleasantly surprised when opportunities present themselves or a person presents themselves that allow us to execute this divine healing that is really what we're thinking about. But we do need to have a relationship with something beyond just ourselves in order to really facilitate this. And I think there's a lot of support if only we are open and asking for it. And like I said, number 8 is this divine intervention. And miracles can happen. They absolutely can happen. And we have to be very clear with ourselves about what it is. We need to ask exactly what we want and need, and that requires being very clear with ourselves about it. And this is how the law of attraction can be used against us, because if you're not clear and you're not, it's about connecting with the resonance of what you want and what you want to bring into your life. And this is really, to me, it's if we want healing, if we want miracles to happen, if we want to reunite family members and fix these fractures so that we can have a unity consciousness, I think that we can have that. But we have to be open to these miracles even presenting themselves. So Raphael can come in as long as we're rooted in that energetically. Because where are we going here? Here's the Emperor reversed. The Emperor is the Aries card, number 4. Structure and form and leadership, and it is Aries, but it also represents the sun in Capricorn. So this can be really considered in a lot of different ways. Now, on the one hand, this can show that the primary masculine energy that the 4 and the Emperor represents is being turned on its head, especially because we do have the Queen of Wands balancing these opposites. But remember, Capricorn is a feminine earth sign. So even with the sun in Capricorn, for instance, representing the Emperor, you do have these two aspects of the wands and the fire, and then the feminine principle with the Queen. So there's a couple ways to look at this. Number 1, the structure being turned on its head, right? Traditionally, when the Emperor is reversed, it's really like despotism and ego and all of the negative aspects of the Aries energy, where it's all ego-oriented and pride and despotism, like I said, and tyrannical rule. I think this is based on everything else. I think this is much more about the this aspect of leadership, and the emperor is being turned on its head. And this may be part of the disillusionment, right? Because we thought that things were structured and they were ordered. And with Pluto and Capricorn, we're especially meeting the moon tomorrow. This is, the world could be very much, and our structure, the representation of our structure could very well be turned on its head, but this is part of the healing process too. I also do feel like this could relate to our inner emperor, right? Our inner courage. This is leading to, because if you look at this upside down, it's exactly like the Hanged Man when the Hanged Man is upright. I mean, if you look at this, right, it's the same positions of the legs is the Hanged Man. And so this does feel like that when we develop this inner courage, when we're able to manage and balance the opposition, the fire and the water with the queen, to be in total power and control of our own energy, and to allow healing energy to move through us. Our structure and form may be turned on its head, but this is part of the waiting period of the Hanged Man. And so it's not going to be as comfortable as it is when the Hanged Man comes up. And that's not even comfortable either, but it's something that we almost welcome and are aware of and maybe accept. When it's like this, it's not as easily accepted. And again, the disillusionment and the disappointment and the turning of our structure and form and security getting turned on its head is very apparent in this energy right here, where we are going. And this is why we need this Lyran energy to come in and really connect to these Lyran starseeds. If you have them in your life, if you are a Lyran starseed, this is what you want to connect to. You can listen to content that is about Lyran starseeds. I would be very discerning about that kind of stuff, but there's so much information out there. So trust yourself and what resonates and what doesn't. But this definitely feels like we are about to have that security and that structure and that order within us and outside of us flipped. And we are going to have some patience and the courage to face that going into, I guess, the underworld, right? To have our head kind of forced at the bottom in some ways and to just wait it out. I wouldn't say wait it out, but there's going to be a flip. Let's just put it that way. And with the sun meeting Mercury retrograde today, specifically at a degree of Aquarius that is like the courage that we need to face our disillusionment, this is really a very likely scenario. So let's look at some of the guidance here. So when it comes to the Divine Physician, we have the Oracle of Delphi, number 1 in the Akashic Tarot. When it's reversed like this, we're really denying our inner voice, and we're not acknowledging or we're resisting the spiritual messages coming in. And when we're talking about the Divine Physician, we are talking about our ability to utilize these gifts of intuition, perception, and interpretation for the process of healing, either ourselves or facilitating that for other people. So we have got to get in line here with the messages coming through. We cannot continue to resist our intuitive and innate knowledge, right? Our gut. We have to trust our gut. We can't keep, and this again is part of the futility and the trickery of the Seven of Swords, that we will use just our mind to try to bypass what is coming in through our innate and intuitive wisdom. Because we really do need to step into leadership. So trust that you're capable of doing so. Again, stop resisting your inner voice. Stop resisting that ability to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, an empath, whatever your gift is. Stop resisting the messages coming in, because we, as a result of our own healing, we are being called to provide leadership. And providing leadership is about balancing the polarities. It's not all about, again, it's not just being that emperor that's out, and Mars that's just out and acting, right? It's about knowing when to act and knowing when to receive and be still. And right now, we have to focus on the healing aspect, listening to our inner voice, and this will allow us to provide leadership about how to do that. Okay. Because like I said, the new moon is all about teaching from a place of deep wisdom, not necessarily acting on our passion. And that's where the leadership component is really going to come into effect. Now, when it comes to Archangel Raphael, like I said earlier, get clear on your intention and stay focused. Move quickly to achieve your goal. That is the cheetah that the Queen of Wands has got her hand on, right? If we can be very clear on our intention, that's when miracles can happen, right? The Archangel Raphael comes in, allows for some healing, some miraculous healing on some level, but it's only when we are clear on our intention. And if we see that for what it is and then act on it, right? We've got to be clear. We can't be bogged down. We can't be, utilizing our mind to fool ourselves. We have got to be clear and focused on what we are here to do. And along with that, the Akashic Library. Again, it's so interesting that we have the Oracle Delphi up at the top, number 1, and then its contrast, number 2, which is going into the depth of who we are. And so our goal is really to go into who we are and go into our own Akashic records. And again, have the courage to face that. Because it's not all great. I mean, we all have things that we have to work with and heal from, and darkness. Every single person has a shadow. Every single person has a shadow. And the only way that we heal collectively is if each individual takes responsibility for that shadow, right? And stop projecting it outward like we don't have anything to deal with. You see a lot of that, a lot of projection of other people being, the epitome of evil. On all sides. We have to have the courage to go down into the records and be like, okay, here's my past, my past lives. These are the things, the ancestral karma, all of it. We have to be able to have the courage to go into those places. And if we can do that, then we are going to be able to utilize those miraculous healing opportunities that come in, but we have to be able to go into the space to begin with and be willing to hold that space. There's no room for healing if there's no room for healing. So part of that is going into the records of our own Akash and collectively as well, to see where it is that we need to what contracts need to be fulfilled, where do we need to make space, what do we need to let go of. When we can do that and our intentions are clear, that's when the healing will come in. It's pretty remarkable. So that's the transmission for today, guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry for the false start if you had to bear the brunt of that. Everything you need is in the description box below. I do starseed readings. I have a package that is very moderately priced right now in terms of a full natal chart reading and a starseed reading for $144. It's my most popular package. You can book from the website, catalystenergies.net. I'm not going to keep this rate for much longer because it is a lot of work, but it is mind-blowingly activating. And I want to make it available to people because the starseeds need to be activated right now. And if you don't, and knowing and having like some frame of reference for your soul's work as you come in to this life really helps. And I've just seen I've seen miracles happen and with my clients and us together working. So that's that. So thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I'll see you on the transmission tomorrow. Check out the astrology on, you can go to Telegram, you can go to Facebook, you can go to medium.com. It's all in the description box. I have information everywhere to help all of us navigate through these times. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye.